Welcome back to No Blocks. Today I've got Tater Kameyer here, who just finished top 8, more specifically top 6 at the Seattle Calling on RKO, who we're a fan of here at No Blocks. And the more I think about it, the more I think I might need to change the name of this channel to Sometimes Blocks, Value Blocks. I'm still workshopping it. Anyways, Tater has graced us with his presence today to go over his calling results and the deck that he piloted to the top tables. The Calling Seattle was jam-packed full of juicy games. We just had Amanda on the show where she went over her Bravo Flattering Showman deck that she piloted to a second place finish in the Battle Hardened Silver Age event. If you guys are interested in that meta at all, go ahead and check that video out. We also had some meta shakeups with the BNR update, neutering our girl Syndra, as well as taking some shots at Verdance and Florian and Gravy and Mario. So I'm curious what you guys think that's going to do to the meta. I personally think that Syndra is going to have a much less representation at these events, but I'll wait for people who are better at the game than me to decide whether or not Syndra's truly down and out or not. I'm also curious if that's going to change everybody's reads on the meta for the RTN season. That's basically like right around the corner. So let me know in the comments down below how you think this is going to change the meta. And before we send it over to Tater, if you think this content is worth it, if you could be so kind as to gently caress that like button and subscribe button, or smash it or click it, whatever, I don't really care. I really appreciate it. But with all that said and done, all right, Tater, welcome back to welcome to No Blocks. I hear you did pretty well at the Seattle Calling. You came in 5th, 6th. We'll go with 5th. Sounds better on the resume. On RKO. So for the people who don't know who you are, because you don't seem to have much of a online presence, which I assume is by design, but if you want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself, when you started playing, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, my name's Tater. I'm a member of the Potato Squad. We wear our shirts around. We sometimes upset, but for the most part, we stay under the covers and just kind of do our thing.
That's your
Which
team?
seems to be working. Yep.
Awesome.
I started playing about a month before Heavy Hitters. I really liked the Guardian Teklo play styles at the time.
Yeah.
And then
Very slow and methodical.
right after Misfail, I dropped all of that and played Max the Height Nitro, and I played him until he got
really?
the collateral ban. Yeah.
Yeah, I got another local. He won a few tournaments on Max. His name's Zach. I don't know. Maybe you ran into him. He's maybe not. I don't know. I know that was a little claim to fame for a while, that he was the Max guy.
Yeah, there seems to be a few of those regionally around the world.
He's kind of gone off it since then, but yeah, for a while there he was it was before my time, but yeah, he was on that, and then so you were on Guardian and Teklo, then to Max, and then what brought you to RKO?
I only switched to RKO about a week before Seattle. I had messed around with him when he first came out, and I thought he was a real cool design. As a Max player, I was not a big fan of him having arc smash so naturally. And then we were looking at the kind of like the meta and the matchup spreads, and I was leaning Florian, and like I said, about a week prior, we started looking at it and decided he had a really good, a much better matchup than Florian into like a Cilio, and probably Syndra. I personally, it's probably an unpopular opinion, but I think I like the Verdance matchup with Florian a bit better, but not much.
Oh, really? Yeah. I figured I haven't done either side of them, but I feel like RKO is pretty good into Verdance.
He does pretty good. Once the Verdance knows how to kind of play around what he does, it gets significantly harder.
Yeah, but luckily now a little bit less blocks on the Verdance side, so it's gotten a little bit easier.
That is intriguing.
Yeah. And then so you moved over to that to about a week before, and then yeah, obviously that Syndra matchup's pretty nasty. I've played it on my side a couple times with my local RKO Drew, but I think I'm like a 1 out of 3 basically. And the one I like high rolled, I lined up perfectly. I read his hands a little bit, and then I was lucky enough to get it out. But on average, I'm just getting walked to the end of the game. Like, it's not even close most of the time.
Yeah, it's pretty good when you can deny mass trigger and still return 8 damage. Exactly. It's really hard for her to keep up with that.
Yeah, I know we've seen you do that at least once last weekend, and we'll get to that a little bit later. Yeah, so we did the a little bit of the history of Tater. You got your team. I assume you worked on your you ironed it out with your team to get your deck to where it's
Yeah.
at.
My team member Gibby, Jonathan Gibson, former recovering Kano player, he helped me a
God help
lot
them.
with the sideboard, yeah,
Yeah,
and prepping for Seattle,
yeah, that's
trying to
awesome.
figure out what to put in, what to take out.
I know. All me and all the other RKOs are reviewing your deck list to see how to change things. I see some stuff in here that is a little bit. It's not in my list, but is now. And then, so before we jump into the actual deck tech and your thoughts on everything, I know we had two streamed games. I know they were both kind of blowouts. But if you want to just
Yeah,
go over high level of that first one with the Dory, kind of what you saw there and how that played out.
yeah. The Dory one was a pretty good example of the KO had what it needed when he needed it, and the Dory didn't.
Yeah.
It was really hard for him to recover. I was really selective on when I allowed him to play the game. We were joking about it midstream too.
Oh yeah. We could.
Uh,
They saw you talking and they were talking about it. Like, yeah, he's just
yeah.
like, oh well.
And then it was funny because I felt really bad in the middle of that matchup.
Oh.
I know Richard.
Oh yeah.
We played before, and uh, in the middle of it, it was just so one-sided. I just apologized. I'm like, I'm really sorry this is happening to you.
I mean,
You look
that's
like you
a
need a hug. Would
yeah.
you like to hug right after this? And
Yeah,
he's like, Yeah, I
so
think
they
I need
were
a
they were
hug.
right. They were all talking about like, look at this guy. He's playing the evil character, and he just looks like the biggest sweetheart.
This is a reviled player straight before. Honestly, he looks like a really sweet guy.
And if we only had the mics turned on, they would all know.
Yeah,
But yeah, it looks like you kind of basically had that wrapped up from like turn 2 or something like that when you had that D-racked in Arsenal and just stuffed his first turn and kind of just cascaded from what I saw.
yeah.
Like he just never really had any breathing room. And yeah, it's funny when you're playing and then you're just so far ahead that you feel guilty. Like I've done that before when on decks where like you're just like you're winning and it just feels bad almost. You're like, ooh, this is too. I'm winning too hard. It doesn't feel right. But I mean, and I'd rather feel that than the other way. That's for sure. So and then after that, we saw you right before the top 8 against a pretty well known player on Syndra, Yuki Lee. How'd that
Yeah.
one go? I'm sure that's the one that most people were reviewing.
I was so scared at that match. I know the announcers kept telling me I was, calm, cool, and collective.
Can you read anything in that face? Honestly, like Tater
No.
is complete. Like I want to play.
I cannot.
I never want to play poker with this man.
Oh no, yeah, you were like
But-
stone faced killer on screen. You look like you were just trying
And
to yeah, you look like a poker player.
I had such an atrocious first hand. I think I had like two blocks, and then take it on the chin, and then like one playable card, which was Show of Strength. And I was this hand's like atrocious. And I was like, man, I got the agility, and I have half of what I need to really just send this hand back. And I ended up reaching for my Savage Sash, and I'm like, this is either going to be really, really awesome or really, really bad.
We live or die by the sash.
Yeah, live by the younger, die by the bunga, right?
Yep.
So I was like, even if I don't draw the 8 go again into 3. Even if she blocks out the 8, I still have the 3 to get me there, and then I get Arsenal the big bully, and then just
Yeah.
I think it was a big bully, and then just send it hard next turn. And it worked out quite heavily, and I tried really hard to keep the blue in hand too, not because it was a nimblism, but just because it was a blue, and sometimes I didn't want to like be stuck in that position where I don't get a blue and I have to give up my entire hand anyways.
Yeah, because that's the one nimblism that you're running, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
like blocking with that kind of just kills. I mean, it doesn't kill, but kind of neuters 3 of your nimbies.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was on the stream, and everybody was like, "Oh yeah," everybody was just figuring that's why you were doing it. But it was good that you were able to at least see the line. Otherwise, it was just what worked best for
And
you.
then, yeah, the Rotten Remains play. A lot of people had me, are you playing with your food? And I'm like, no, I was. Sometimes
Yeah,
you just draw like.
I was literally talking to my buddy about that
Yeah.
earlier today. I was like, oh, I felt like he was just flexing right there. It looked like he was just throwing the rotten remains to force Yuki to pitch. Because I'm usually on the other side of it. I'm like, I'm never gonna let you take my dagger. But it looked just like you looked like you're styling.
So, I mean, yeah, I wanted her to pitch and give up her turn. I knew the 9 was not going to kill her, right? I was just going to get her hand, and if I didn't draw into anything else, right,
Okay.
I was just going to lose tempo. But I had a chance to send the rotten remains, get her hand anyways, an arsenal that I think it was a show of strength, or maybe it was a swing big. It was a 2 for 8.
Yeah.
And arsenal that, and then if I didn't draw into anything, which I think I did draw into a red mocking blow, then I would have a plan B to keep ripping momentum, because I knew I needed to either find a pummel or an E strike to close out that game.
See, that's the difference. You're at the top tables and I'm not, because I just thought you were just style points, because I was like, oh, that felt almost BM. I was like, oh, he's just throwing that because he can. But you're looking
risky.
at it differently.
If she had to throw a dagger, I think I was a little bit hosed on that play, but I still had enough life lead to kind of compensate for it and then regain.
Yeah, because I also thought the same thing. Like, oh, she's probably running 3 throw daggers, so I mean, there's a chance that she just buys it back with 1 card. But yeah, because I don't think she had any other 1 costs in her deck or in her.
Right.
Yeah. So.
No, she didn't. It was just the daggers.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, because we were just talking. I was like, yeah, that definitely looked just like you're being reviled for sure. But and you turns out you're just being smart, and we can't really tell the difference sometimes. So yeah, basically, it looks like after that, I mean, at that point, the game was over. I don't remember what the life totals were, but I think you had like a 20 life lead or something, if not more, at that point.
She was doing a good job chipping me down before I found what I needed, but it was pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah, and then that was one of your first. It was your second stream game of the day, so they must like you. Get a little bit of reviled action. Maybe they'll give reviled a little bit of love in the packs coming up, because those cold foils and all that stuff from Black Friday, it was all revered. And I was just like, what is going on? Give me my reviled stuff.
I got my booze from that.
Me too. I bought 3. I bought 3 packs by like earning them or whatever, and I opened nothing but cheers. And I was just like, oh, of course, great. Like the only reviled card you have a 50-50 chance of hitting, and I didn't do it. But I traded for him, so I got him now. But so you did pretty well against Yuki, and I think you're making some waves. You might be. They were talking about it. You might be driving the price up of some of those reviled cards. So luckily, I've got all mine either with me or ordered before that event happened.
Funny. Immediately after that Yuki matchup, I ran to Righteous Gaming to go purchase the rest of my RKO bling that I was missing, because I didn't want to outprice myself of it.
That's funny. Which ones did you grab? The EA outside interference or what?
Yeah, I needed the EA outsider interference, and I had at the time I had given away all my swing big promos from PQ season to friends that played brutes, and so I'm playing brute without any of them, just like.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got those. I didn't have any swing bigs because I didn't really play brute before, and then all of them that I got were I earned my 1, and then I bought the other, like traded for the other 2. But yeah, I love that art on that one. It looks interesting. And then there's some good bling on that deck for sure. Did you get your rainbow set of mocking blows? The promos?
I did.
Yeah, I want those. So if anybody's, just if there's a whale out there watching this, send them my way. But they're like the most expensive promos for like those out there for that price, because I think like on the webs they're going for like $60 a pack or more. So for $20 for rare cards, that's crazy. But when you want to bling, I guess you got to drop the money. But yeah, so that game went out pretty well, and then you made it to top 8. They didn't stream your game, so I think they might have thought that was a little bit too much screen time for you, because I think if you're on stream, you probably would have just won. I really think that you're just getting some all the energy from all the RKO fans out there watching those games. But so how'd that game go that didn't get streamed in the top 8? I know you didn't close out.
It was atrocious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris Ailey, he's a great player. He just had my number from the get-go. I was it was my first time in that type of position, so I admittedly was like kind of on cloud 9.
Yeah, just happy to be there.
I was just more like cloud 9. Like I have like met and exceeded my expectations for the day. I really don't care what happens from here on out, and I wasn't playing the tightest game I could have.
Gotcha.
Chris was obviously he won the calling that day. So
Yeah, I mean, hey, you lost to the best in the room, so I mean, are you really a loser? Like I mean, practically you're
Yeah.
second place. If we're going by that, you're second place. We'll take that.
it was an amazing turnout because I started the game losing. I started day one losing rounds 2 and 3.
Oh,
Who
was that to?
Round two was Verdance. They had turn 0. They just gained like 4 life, and I just had a hard time recovering. Because back then they could get online just by blocking me.
Yeah, with those
And
root
then
bounds. Goodbye.
bye. And then there was 5 KOs, RKOs that registered for the calling, and I got the mirror on round 3.
Who'd you play against? Do you remember? I don't think it was Drew. It wasn't Drew. I think I talked to him about it. I think he played against. I think got a mirror match too, but it wasn't against you.
No, I don't think it was. I think I would remember that name, but yeah, and yeah, it was just crazy having that. And he found his CNC pommel before I did, and so it was really hard to.
I figured it was going to be the first one to find the rotten remains and throw it.
I found the rotten remains, which almost squared us up, but that initial CNC pommel just turning off all my, half of my deck without a booze was pretty atrocious.
Yeah, those life leads are pretty important on RKO. On the when you threw that rotten remains, do you remember what you got it up to? I'm just curious at this point, just pure curiosity.
I think it was like 16 or something crazy like that. After the base 6, because I think it was like 11 and then base 6 it to 16.
Yeah, and basically you're like, your next rotten remains is going to be coming in for 3, or you're just going to pitch it because I stole 2 of your cards out of your deck or more, depending on how many they're running.
Yeah, because I had pulled it early and I was like, yeah, we're pitching this, and I just knew I had to throw it before he did to have a fighting chance in that game.
Yeah.
But
unfortunate, but you still made it to the top table, which is its own miracle. When you said you won your first round and you lost the second 2. Is that accurate? That's crazy that you still made it. You must have just been beating all the top players then to get there. I'm not quite sure on the math of all the tournament standings, but I mean
I was the lowest of the X2s. But
yeah, and then must have just So then you're getting paired up against probably, and then just getting those games. That's awesome. And then I think you came in top 8. Well, I guess 5th, right? So. You did
I think I finished Swiss in 6, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah.
Well, I mean that's pretty awesome that you made it there. And then just before we get more into the deck tech, you said you lost against Verdance. I think that's probably a pretty good matchup. Would you agree? You just got unlucky on that one.
I think I don't like that matchup as much. I like it now after root bounds are gone. But
yeah.
I wasn't a huge fan of it going into it. I think I really like Dread Scythe from the Florian, like I was mentioning earlier, into that matchup. But as RKO, you kind of have to go hard, but they're also at the same time just dealing true damage to you. And I was having better success in that matchup running 2 Oasis over Arc Smash.
Okay.
Because what a lot of Verdance players were doing with RKO is they would get 1 or 2 pots out, and then as soon as they find a Rampant, just break them. And then they would just hit you for 12 3 times a game versus 1 big combo.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, I just from my what I've seen in my local, it seems to be relatively fair, but it's also probably how other people play the matchups as well. But it definitely has a lot to do with it. What do you think is RKO's strengths? What are their best matchups and what are their worst?
I think some of his best matchups are the ones where you can really punish people for misblocking. He has that warrior. Yeah, he has that warrior-esque feel of you're gonna block me, or you're gonna hope I don't do anything. Oh, you're gonna commit 3 cards. Okay, I'll just arsenal this and pass.
Yeah,
and
I always thought that RKO seemed like an assassin that was less feel bads man. I'm gonna do a bunch of little tricks if you're not paying attention, but at least most of the time you're not ripping cards out of hand and stuff. So it felt like a more honest assassin from my perspective, at least. But yeah,
and you get to threaten pummel almost every turn once you get the
just
the
2
boot
floating.
turn
Do
wrong.
I have it? What do you think?
Yeah.
And so,
So,
and what do you think their worst matchups are?
the Kasai matchup is really bad. I don't like the Florian matchup at all. I think Germinate's a really good card.
Yeah,
Um,
it is pretty strong. It was banned for a reason.
yeah, and those two heroes, I mean, they kind of do what we're doing, but they have a really good closer, whereas we kind of rely on just brute strength to close out the game sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it is part of the hero text, right? Brute.
Yeah.
So, cool. And then, was there any other like just general tips and tricks you had for the RKO? Anything you've seen while practicing that maybe somebody who's coming here interested in the decks might find useful? Because right now you're the de facto RKO guy, so.
So one of the things I noticed is not many people realize that pummel turns on flex strength. So you don't have to activate RKO on flex strength. You can just pummel it, and it will go immediately up to 9.
That is I'd never even thought of that myself either. There
Because
you go.
pummel brings it to a 6, and it goes
Yeah.
up. And if you have the extra cards in hand, you can go even higher if they choose to throw a D-React on it.
That makes sense. That's crazy.
And Rotten Remains, even if Syndra... I think Syndra is still okay in the meta,
Yeah,
post-BNR,
I think
personally.
as a Syndra player, it hurts my heart. I think she's, I don't want to say dead, but she's definitely taken down a peg. I don't think she's gonna be top 4 decks, at least until somebody smarter than me figures it out. Because I'm sure there's a blue line Syndra out there somewhere, but it just seems they just killed the consistency. It's gonna have like similar high end peaks, but I think it's just on average you're gonna get more brick hands. And I played
Yeah.
that's the one deck I played the most of, and I'm just like, well, you just at least out of my deck you took 5 cards out of my main board. Well, actually 6 with the Wrath, but you can take the Wrath. I think that was a fair ban. I think the brands were a little heavy handed, but they're going to do what they're going to do. So I think they took a lot of the consistency out. I think the deck will still function. It's just going to be, instead of like, I kind of crafted my deck to be less bricky, and I think there's going to be there's no way around some of the brick hands now, until Wrath comes out. Companion.
Yeah. I think she can still be built pretty consistently, but she's not as free with her daggers anymore as she was, because she's not going to be able to hit that 3 Draconic chain like every turn like she used to be able to. But Rotten Remains is going to stay for me, and then
and it should be pretty decent into what I
card.
imagine the assassins and stuff. They're going to be throwing some one power attacks at you. So I think, at least for my list.
And Rotten Remains is pretty good closing out gravy games as well.
Yeah.
Because they run the blue swell, so you can get up to about +6 if you wait long enough.
That's pretty hefty, and plus if you pump it yourself too, that's 12 or 11 or 13 damage right there. I think Rotten Remains is like a really interesting card, and I think it's gonna have like really good sideboard potential against like certain matchups, or maybe even just keep them in regardless, because it is a blue block 3 that you can pump. So, all right, Tater. So we got your deck tech up here. Just want to walk us through it. Obviously, we got Kayo Underhanded Cheat. For the people who might be watching this video and not know what this hero does, you want to just take us through this hero and what will make him interesting and good?
Yeah, I think what makes him interesting and good is the fact that his hero ability says instant.
Yep.
Which will become relevant later on in some of my decision points. And whenever he gets booted, it creates a vigor, so it covers kind of one of that 4 cost going forward, especially when you can start chaining the mocking blows together.
Yeah, definitely. Because I remember when I first saw this hero, I was like, 4 cost? That's insane. But there's enough little tricks in Flesh and Blood where you can get that down to a manageable price. And then
99% of this list, I think, is one of Mansant's first lists.
Oh yeah, I think I looked at that one too when on the purple Discord when that was posted. But yeah, you definitely made some tweaks. And then we're gonna go over here. We got your arms. You got the Apex Bone Breakers.
Yep.
What makes this better than any other 2-block arm?
This one you get 2 extra value if you can block with a 6 or higher by generating might for the next turn.
Are you holding this till you can get that trigger, or are you sometimes just sacking it? Like,
Depends on the matchup. Yeah, it depends on the matchup. If I have a big bully lined up in hand and I just need to stay 1 or 2 life ahead, then I'll throw them on there empty.
Yeah, so it's a 2-block with an upside potentially.
Yeah.
Well, technically, I guess it's 3-block.
It's a minimum of 3 value and a high end of 5 value.
Yeah, definitely. And then we've got Spring Tunic, everybody's bread and butter, pretty much. I don't think we really need to explain why this is good. A free resource every 3 turns, and then one more value when you need to finally block with it. Mandible Claw. All right, so this is where I'm going to go off the beaten path. The new weapon. What are our thoughts? I got some feelings. I'm curious of what yours are. Because supposedly it's RKO's weapon, so that's what is the interesting part to me.
I have the unpopular opinion. I'm actually kind of stoked for the Savage Claw.
Really?
Yeah.
Any reason for that? Or do you have faith that they're going to print stuff to make it better?
I think there's already stuff printed that makes it okay.
Okay.
The fact that you can there'll be a lot of times in the game where you have to block out and keep 1 red.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, what do I do with this? I'm going to waste my vigor. Well, you pitch that 1 red, and now you can swing for 4 and be a pseudo guardian.
Okay.
It's a positive outlook. Mandible Claw only gets go again maybe 3 times a game.
Yeah, true.
Most likely, it's only 1 time a game when you go grab your follow-up blue. And you can go give Savage Claw go again if you go find Trot Along.
Okay.
Which I think will probably be making my list. I really like Trot Along.
Yeah, I was reviewing that too with my buddy Drew as well. We were talking about that after the weekend. Okay, so you have a more positive outlook on that weapon than I do. I felt like Mandible Claw just fit so well with the other basically RKO exclusive card, the Outside Interference. It just felt like those two were like marriage made in heaven, and then they're just as soon as this gets taken out. I mean, yeah, you're right. You're probably only getting the go again once in a while, but when you do, you get such value out of it. It just felt so.
Yeah.
It felt so good. Okay, and then Scab Skins, a brute staple. When are you gambling for the extra action points?
I'm going to lose anyways.
When you're going to lose anyways. Got it. So are there a good amount of games where you don't even throw it? If you feel like you're in the driver's seat, you're just not going to risk it?
When I first started picking up RKO, I was very, very rambunctious with the Scab Skin rules.
Yeah.
I played side events on Friday prior to the calling, and I finished 4-4 on the day.
Just warm-ups. Just warm-ups.
Most of the reasons was because I wanted to roll scabs. I had a turn against Syndra where I had 2 show strengths and a swing big and a blue with Savage Sash off. I'm like, I'm rolling scabs, and I rolled a 1 and I lost the game.
That I'll be honest with you. When I first started playing the game, that's what turned me off of the brute. Was just I had the KO armory deck, and I remember I rolled for something, and then I was just I whiffed, and I was just like, oh, okay, so that's useless. And it just it's just such high highs and low lows. So I guess you live and die by the dice roll. Sometimes with brute, and
you live by the Yanga, die by the Bunga for sure.
You have to be willing to risk it all to win it all.
And in the same breath, I had a Kasai game. I think it was one of the last rounds of day 1. He had me dead to rights. He should have won that game 100%. I ended up rolling scabs 3 times that game, and it came up with 5, 6, and 6, and that was
the gas.
And that was the only reason I made day 2.
When you're God's favorite, you're God's favorite, I guess, right?
Yeah, and so I mean, when I think I'm going to lose anyways, I'll or if I'm absurdly ahead, and then it's just going to help me close out.
Yeah.
I sometimes will.
Style points, right?
Yeah.
Cool. And then Scowling Flesh Bag, probably one of the coolest helms in the game.
Probably one of the best helmets in the game.
Yeah. yeah, basically just intimidate. Is there any tips you have for the new brutes out there of when to block with this, or is it just you just see them doing something stupid and they have like 3 more cards in hand?
Yeah. I mean, generally, like if certain characters say no blocks and they open up with something massive and go again, you throw it on the chain.
And hope you hit
just to try
whatever
to,
they needed.
yeah, hope you hit whatever you needed. Guardian players, if they throw with 1 card left in hand and 2 floating, you throw it on there every single time, unless you're ready to eat the pummel.
And then, so I may be ignorant in this. Is there a reaction when you, or a reaction window when you do the defend, intimidate, trigger, and then can they react on that trigger, like with a attack?
No, they can play instance in reaction to it because the trigger happens in the defense step.
Okay.
So they can't play defense reactions or attack reactions. It's only.
Got it.
It all
Okay,
happens
so
in
unless
defense
it's
step.
the only way around that is if it's an instant in hand.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so
So
I was unaware of that.
If you're against if you're against KO AD, a lot of times they'll throw it on there. Like, oh, I'm not going to let them pump it, and then your hero ability says instant, so you can respond to the flashback trigger and get the card out of your hand and pump up KO anyways.
Got it. Okay, cool. So that's a little tech for everybody if they didn't know that, or maybe it was just me. I don't know. And then we'll go over your main board. We got a solid 60 in the main board. I don't know if this is just what you're normally running. We can go over what you take out and put in. So we got 2 big bullies in the main board. This is an RKO staple pretty much. You want to touch on this? I mean, some of them, we don't have to touch every single card because some of them are, you read the card, they do what they say, but I'm sure there's going to be some people out there that are going to get some value out of your insights on them.
Yeah, if you can, the fabled line I love is activating Big Bully, pumping it up to 12, and then pummeling it on top of it for 16. That's
pretty
probably
brutal.
my favorite.
I think you probably, if you get that done, you probably just win the game, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I've hit it 3 times. I really like that line.
3 times total or 3 times that weekend?
3 times total.
Okay, yeah.
No, not that weekend. Yeah, I think I did maybe once in a side event.
I was gonna say let's revisit that God's favorite thing because it's pretty nasty. And then we got 3 CNCs, basically a staple in everybody's deck. Do you got the blinged out ones, or are you using the? No, you have a white border.
I got white borders.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that on stream.
My friend wanted the black borders, and so we retraded.
Oh, you're so nice.
I don't care that much.
the only white border I'm rocking in my technically I only have 2 E-strikes right now, and they're both white borders. But aside from those, I do have a white border for the blue nimblism, just to make it easier. I got that from Drew. He had that idea. It's like, so when you're searching through your deck for it, you just look for the white border, and it like stands out. And then we're rocking 3 E-strikes. I saw you do some pretty nasty work with these bad boys on the streams.
Yeah, they're a fun little card. If you can sometimes catch them if they want to block just 7, if they're like at 1 life, you can actually RKO it and give it +1.
That's true.
Essentially.
Yeah, if you're holding the rest of it. So are you mostly just doing the go again? I'm imagining, right?
Yeah, there was one time, I think it was in that Kasai game, I rolled Scabs, and because I had the Scabs roll, I drew a card off of it. Or if I have an agility, I like to throw that and draw a card just to kind of replace itself to keep going a little bit harder.
That makes sense.
But most of the time, it's go again.
Got it. And then we're rocking 3 Fate Foreseens, just D-React.
I love that card. And that card was... I was not big on that card going into Seattle, and I am 100% a Fate Foreseen believer coming out of Seattle.
If you had to pick between this and Sync, you doing this or Sync?
Oh, Sync for sure.
Okay, I figured, but you're like, you seemed really on it. But yeah, no, it definitely makes sense. I think it's very strong. It just you're basically sculpting your next turn.
Fate and then seeing like maybe I want to Sync too, because the amount of times you have both of them are quite frequent.
Yeah.
And just being able to like line everything up with that is just really good.
Yeah. And then we got 3 looking for scraps.
I think it's safe to say this is probably an RKO staple now. And it just pairs well with the mocking blows, because a lot of times you end up blocking with the mocking blows early, at least with some of them. I mean, you want to pitch the mocking blows for, late game, but just having that 5 go again. I think I had a line once where it was looking for scrap, and to claw with an outside interference in hand, discarding the interference for mocking blow into just the mocking blow booed. So it was like a 17 damage card cycle, 4 card 17 roughly.
Yeah, for zero cost. That's crazy. Yeah. Or no, not zero cost. Excuse me. 2. But yeah, that's pretty good. That's a go wide on a brute. You don't really see that too often.
I had vigor and a tunic up, so it was just pop, pop, pop.
Yeah. And then we got one of the other staple cards. I guess it's probably between you and or you, like you are RKO. It's probably between RKO and Lyeth. That obviously the only ones that can run it, but you guys both run it pretty well. But right now, RKO's at the top of the list. Lyeth can stay down. And this is probably like one of the other besides like outside interference. This is like the most iconic card I feel like for RKO.
Yeah. It's a great card. If you're higher health, it's literally 6 value off of 1 card.
Yeah,
which is insane.
This is like the one that makes me feel like it's like, hey, this is a brute assassin. We're gonna be doing stuff. Am I gonna do more to it? You're gonna like that's what intrigued me most about RKO is just like just asking them questions on how they're gonna block, and if they choose incorrectly, you get value, like tons of value. So I know we're running those like the yellows too.
And blues. I'm rainbow on those.
All rainbow, yeah, makes sense.
And then we're only rocking red ones, and then
we're only rocking 2 pummels, red pummels at least. Is that just any reason you don't want to run 3, or is that just you were making cuts?
I don't ever want 2 in one hand at the same time.
Got it. So you're just trying to limit the amount of times that happens.
In longer games, the first one's going to get pitched to help close out. If I don't need it to go ahead.
How often are you pitch stacking? I'm assuming you're not, because you're going to expect to hit at least one NIMBY in the game and completely.
It depends. Because the NIMBYs are really good at closing, or if you need to like just kind of play mid range. The NIMBYs, I don't find a NIMBY and be like, I'm going to throw this NIMBY right now. So I'm pitch stacking quite often.
Okay.
And I'll throw a NIMBY intentionally if like I either got distracted or I forgot my pitch stack or something got put in there that I really didn't want in there. I'll just kind of start over with NIMBY.
That makes sense.
That's like half the power of NIMBY is just being able to like shuffle your deck. Even if you discard the Nimblism turn 0, like just shuffling your deck is just great.
Oh, so even you just go through the trigger, look for it, don't have it.
Yeah, fail to find.
And then reshuffle. That's smart.
Yeah.
It's another little trick not everybody knows. I'm sure a lot of people know, but not everybody. And then we're rocking 3 shelters, the most expensive D-React in the game.
Yep.
Are you still going to rock these after the Syndra hits if you think that they're going to get less meta share?
I think I'm skeptical on how less Syndra gets hit. I think I'll still run them just because I think Assassin's still going to be relevant.
So as long as Flick Knives is in the meta, basically?
Yeah.
Got it. But if that gets taken out, are you going to replace it or just drop that D-React in general, like another set of D-Reacts?
The meta would have to speed up a lot for me to like... Or actually, the meta would have to slow down a lot for me to justify taking out a 0 for 4 D-React.
Got it. Yeah, I'm new to this. I'm new to this blocking thing, so I think I might change the name of the channel to like sometimes blocks. And then we got Show of Strength, a powerhouse card, especially when you're against a red line deck.
2 for 8s are good.
Yep. You're rocking 3 of those. I don't know if there's really much to be said on this. Obviously, it's another pummel trigger if you have it. Can't pump it with the RKO ability, but you don't really need to when it's coming in for 8 on its face.
It's still interesting the point that if you need to just get rid of your hand for whatever reason, you can still activate RKO on this. It would just reduce the damage.
Yeah, a little bit of hand cycling, I guess. Yeah, that's crazy. Have you ever done that where you just like, I hate this hand, I'm gonna filter it and lose 2 value?
No, I've done it against Marlin though, where she was gonna rip a card I really needed.
Oh,
I
I
think it
see.
was a pummel. No, not a pummel. She was gonna rip I think my last CNC, and I had pummel in Arsenal, so I just pitched the CNC in a blue to pump up one of my defending attack action cards.
Oh, that's crazy. See, there's all kinds of little tricks you can do on this stuff. That's awesome. Then we got another 2 more. Well, not this is a direct, but it might as well be.
Sigil's the goat.
Yeah. Instant gain 3. Basically, just plays into your plan of being above health, right?
Yeah.
When you see these, you pretty much, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you see this early and you don't have another spot for the arsenal that you need, you're just throwing it in arsenal till you need it, or are you just burning them?
If we're at life parity and I'm about ready to throw an attack, I'll dump it. But most of the time, you want to kind of bait out some arsenal hate. Because if you go lower health, the likely that they walk down with you thinking it's going to be okay increases.
Higher.
Yeah. So you want to try to keep all that information concealed as long as you can.
Yeah. Then the sink below, obviously,
Sink below's good.
One of the best D-reacts and actually cheap, unlike shelter. And then swing bigs, not the cool art, but I mean it's still cool, but not the new ones that you're gonna go out and get before this video hits, before they increase in price. Yeah, this is a brute staple, not really a RKO staple, but a brute staple. How often is just another 2 for 8 pretty much. I feel like most of the time they're either, now like I said, correct me if I'm wrong here. Most of the time they're either blocking this out or they're getting a quicken they can't do anything with.
Yeah. Well, the quicken can stay. So there's some heroes where you kind of want to be careful getting them a quicken. But in a lot of the matchups now in the meta, you're okay giving them a quicken. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And just sending 2 for 8 is great value. I was worried that because being new to the brute scene, a lot of people are going to try to just get the quicken off me. And I found out I usually won if they went out of their way to get the quicken off of me.
Yeah.
So
I mean, they're taking damage to get that trigger zone. And then RKO blocks so well, so it's like,
yeah, they're giving me their entire hand, and I get to keep momentum. Cool.
Yeah, we'll take that. And then we got the yellow mocking blows we already touched on. It's just a slightly reduced buff. And then we got 3 cold foil boos.
Boos are good.
Yeah, this is a good one. To go again when it enters or leaves, crowd boos you. So you're basically so at the start of your turn, so basically it just sets you up for back-to-back KO triggers.
Yeah.
So can't complain about that.
The reason boos is so good is because it boos you, you don't have to be higher life in order to activate mocking blows or big bully.
Yeah.
My first one, if I don't need it, I usually try to pitch it just in case
so you can
the
get
game
it later.
does not go my way.
Yeah. And then we got your flex strengths that we touched on a little bit earlier, which is the pummel tech. Basically, it's a blue block 3, comes in for 2 on its face, but if it's got 6 or more, it gets +3, and then you can either do that with your KO trigger, or you can do that with KO trigger and pummel, or just pummel. That's a pretty nasty line for sure. How often are you psyching them out and just doing it with because I guess they might not think you have enough resources, but you're just throwing a pummel. You have 2 floating and just the pummel, and then you're like, well, now this is a 6, it comes up to 9.
Yeah, and it happens quite a bit if they're not paying attention. Because if they, a lot of times they say no blocks to this, especially early game, so you can sneak the pummel in and kind of disrupt their hand.
Or they block 6 and then, I mean, actually, yeah, no, because they would still. I guess if they're gonna block, I guess they would probably aim for the 9.
Yeah.
But
You gotta get suspicious that they block exactly 5. You maybe hold back the pummel, but
yeah,
if fearing for a D react. But the flex strength are so good at like closing out games because you're pitching them throughout the game, and then you're gonna the likelihood you have all blue hands when you're like third or fourth cycle, you can just throw it and be like, I demand 3 cards,
yeah.
and then you just arsenal anyway.
And
So
they're
you
already
don't,
probably low at that point anyway, so they have to be
yeah,
tiptoeing around each turn, making sure that. And that's where RKO just feels deadly, just definitely at the end. I mean, I feel deadly all the time, but like obviously you get towards the end of it and you're just like, well, this is about to get pumped and boosted, and you're just like, that's what makes him interesting. They've got another blue mocking blow, same thing as red and yellow, just slightly less damage, but pitches for 3 and still blocks 3. I'm seeing a trend
yep,
here. Very few things that don't block for 3. We're going to come up to a couple of them. We got Nimblism.
yep.
It's basically probably just your NIMBY trigger.
It's more than that. If you want to go back to it real quick, there was
Yeah.
actually one game where I actually played out Nimblism, and it paid off. I think it was that Kasai game I was mentioning earlier. I closed out the game because I had the Nimblism in Arsenal because I had just played my last Nimby. And I rolled the 6 on the scabs. I ended up playing the Nimblism, which ended up buffing my last attack that I threw, which happened to be cost 0 by 1. So just getting that extra value off there, I think, is something that people overlook.
Yeah,
Which happened to be exactly enough to kill the Kasai, or I just lost next turn.
I mean, yeah, definitely that extra +1 when it comes in and lines up perfectly. I'm sure it's pretty nice. Especially, I would never even imagine you would be doing that. But you're obviously better than me, so you're seeing the lines. But yeah, that's another thing to keep in mind when you guys are playing this deck. Is it's more than just a NIMBY pitch to get your pump. But I think 90% of the time or more, you're probably just grabbing it with NIMBY and then pitching it to pump it.
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, so we got the NIMBY for everybody who's might be new to this. The line for this is and the reason I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you got one blue NIMBY and not any reds or anything in here, just because you're cycling it with NIMBY, grabbing that, and you have like the one floating either from a vigor or the chest, and suddenly this is a 1 for 6.
Yep.
Or a 1 card 6, excuse me.
And if you can hit NIMBY with agility, especially late game, one of the things I love doing was throwing the NIMBY, going to get the Nimblism. It gave me 2 cards on NIMBY, but it has go again, and then I throw Claw anyways to put the Nimblism back in deck, just to kind of demand a 3rd card.
Yeah, that's funny. And then we got 2 offensive behaviors. This is another reviled card. If you control a might or vigor token, this gets +1. When this hits a hero, create a might and vigor token. How often are you getting the +1, do you think? Or is you just mainly doing it for the block, pitch, and then the possible, pump it up to 6 to get these?
So, yeah, getting the 2 tokens is huge off of that. Every now and then, it will line up with the booze. But for the most part, just saying, hey, I have a relevant on hit. I know I'm behind, but now I have a relevant on hit.
Yeah. And then forcing them to...
The amount of damage like you can do with just those 2 tokens is pretty insane, because like your follow-up turn can just be 1 NIMBY held in hand, and then the Vigor and the Might's going to throw that NIMBY to a 7.
Yeah.
So it's a 1 card 7 on your follow-up turn. If
we call that
you can
value.
Get the offensive. Yeah. It's... I very much have a love-hate relationship with this card. I really hate that it's a 2 base power. I really wish it was 1.
Just for the extra, just for like the rotten remains triggers and stuff, or
looking for scrap mostly, but yeah.
Gotcha.
But
and then
getting the 2 tokens is pretty strong.
Yeah, and then outside interference, the KO card, in my opinion. Instant discard this. You may reveal reviled attack action card from your inventory and put it into your hand. So basically, probably 1 in 100. You're actually, maybe not 1 in 100, but 9 times out of 10, you're doing the instant discard.
I have never thrown that attack.
You've never once done it? Okay, yeah. I've seen it be thrown before, but yeah, it's pretty rare. You're pretty much always gonna just go grab something to make your turn just dumb. Are you always gonna be trying to line this up with your mandible claw, or are you just gonna do it to?
If I can line it up, I try to get the value off of it. That's why there's the one blue in sideboard, so we can go grab the blue and then throw whatever else is in our hand off of the go again. It's not like you can arsenal it and still discard it.
Yeah.
So you're either picking it or discarding it for the turn cycle. And in a clutch, you can discard it to go grab a 3-block just to throw something on the chain as well. But
yeah, if this was a block 3/2, that would be insane.
That would be insane. I would probably throw it if it was a block. No, I'm just kidding. So it's a really good card. It's kind of what makes RKO, I think.
Yeah, give me the cheaty vibes. Like, oh, by the way, I forgot to put this card in my deck. Let me go grab it.
Yeah.
I'm curious if they're going to expand on this as like not a trope, but like a line, like in the future, like to actually take advantage of your sideboard in the middle of a game. Because right now I'm like 99% sure this is the only card that does that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, I'm curious if that's going to be something to expand on, or they're just going to do this one time, and this is that one card that does it. So that'd be pretty interesting. And then we're rocking 2 overcrowdeds, which I'm just going to assume is going to turn into 3 as Assassin is just getting bigger and bigger. Now that Syndra's, not that Assassin was already getting into Syndra, but I think Assassin's going to take some of the Syndra space.
There's definitely room for a third one if Mario in particular goes and fills the void.
Yeah. There's a lot at the calling. I'm pretty sure. I don't remember. I don't have the spread up in front of me, but I'm pretty sure it was like one of the top represented decks, wasn't it?
It was, but I think the conversion rate for Mario was pretty low, if I'm not mistaken, from day 1 to day 2.
Yeah.
So
that's just because people are just chasing the meta. They didn't do it with their team and their potato squad and make sure everything was good.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is an insane card too. If you want to walk.
Yeah, against Assassin or anything with Codex of Frailty, the minute you find it, you block with it, and that's your Codex target. It just completely shuts down, leave no witnesses. Because they're going to give you a Frailty, they're going to give themselves a Ponder, so it's going to immediately block for 4.
Yeah. So yeah, for the people who I'm assuming most people are watching this or have been playing the game, but for the ones that don't or are new to it, trying to learn, the line, it's basically you just get into your graveyard, and then when they make you pull your card out. I forget what the card is right now. Correct me. That they're throwing at you.
Codex of Frailty.
Codex of Frailty. They do that to you. You got to pull a card out of your graveyard, throw it in arsenal, and most of the time they're just gonna destroy it anyways. But this suddenly has a 4-block value on its own. It could be even higher if you have your own tokens up, your own auras up. So yeah, it's just such a like good side piece card. Like I assume that this might come out eventually. If Assassins come out, who else are you gonna? Do you ever take this out of your deck if you're not playing anybody that can use that, or are you just keeping it in for the? You're just keeping it in for
it's
the.
there.
Okay.
Yeah, because like sometimes I want to keep cards in my hand that if they decide to block efficiently, that I can just arsenal instead of activating RKO.
Got it.
And this is one of those where I'm like, I'm okay throwing this in arsenal. It's basically a 2-block D-react at this point. And I'm okay with this.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And you can also play a booze, and then this swings for 7.
That's true. Yeah, it feeds right into it for sure. I just figured like maybe if the meta changed, you would swap it out for something else that was a blue block 3.
Yeah, and you can also pair it up with Apex Bonebreaker and order the trigger. So you could throw this on the same attack as Apex Bonebreaker with another 6 or higher to activate the Might, and order it so you generate the Might before the Overcrowded takes effect, so you can turn it immediately into a 3 or 4 block.
This is why we got you on here. That's some tech that I'm sure most people didn't even think about. That's sick.
Yeah, this card won't be leaving anytime soon.
Awesome. And then we got the one of Rotten Remains. I think we all saw that in the in the game against Yuki. It is a Syndra hate card for sure. But even if Syndra's not around, you're keeping it in, I'm assuming, just for the same concept of it's a blue block 3 that you can pump, and it's also got a relevant action where you pump it.
Yeah. And well, I mean, yeah, in clutch it can still block 3. It can still be activated with RKO. It can still take 2 cards out if you really need it to. It's really good against Assassin. It's really good against Gravy. I've had lines where I hit Mandible Claw Go again to take care of an ally, and then play Rotten Remains and pumped it up to like 6 to take care of a chum.
Easy. That's that. I mean, I think that's gonna be. I'm curious of how much the Gravy is gonna be taken up. Even I know he just got hit with another ban, but from what I hear, he's still gonna be very good. And now that Syndra's taken down a peg, I feel he might be even better. And like I said, like Syndra's probably still going to be around, but I assume that everybody's kind of everybody reacts to bans pretty dramatically. So I'm assuming that at least for a while the representation is going to go down, unless I'm completely misreading the meta. And then so I think Gravy's going to be up there as well. And then this is, as you said, just it's a good tech piece into him as well.
Yeah, the more you play it, the more you realize like how good it actually is. Funny story, I actually didn't own this card going into Seattle.
Me neither. They're coming in the mail right now.
I borrowed it from a friend, and I have like the one copy that I borrowed from a friend, Andrew Clayton from Tucson. Really
Shout out,
great
Andrew.
guy. And I don't know if I've told him yet, but like I decided as soon as I played that card on stream, he was never getting this card back, which works out because I think once he started that card played on stream, I think he went and bought rainbow foil ones, realizing like how good it actually was.
Oh yeah. I just ordered rainbow foils too. They're like $2. I was like, yeah, I'll grab those.
Hey buddy, if I forgot to tell you, this card's mine now. Thanks.
You mail them $1. It's fine.
Yeah.
And then we got the Steel Victory, which I've seen come in and out of RKO lists. What are your thoughts on this one? Why is it in here?
I will never leave it out. Like this card is just really good into most of the meta heroes. Like the amount of times like they throw Leave No Witnesses and you throw a 1 block on Scabs and Steel Victory to take their Ponder is just diabolical. Doing the same thing to Prism, taking her Ponder is great. Kayo Armed and Dangerous, just robbing them of their hero ability every time you pull that card is just amazing. Taking their might.
Yeah.
Even if you don't use it. Like
I've been on the Steel Victory side, so I agree, but I've just seen like lists where they come in and out, and I think it's probably has something to do with the fact that it doesn't have any attack on it, but it just seems so good.
If I could get like one of those Jack B Nimbles, the one that steals items. But
when I was first viewing this, I had like Jack B Nimble. I was like, ooh, I want to find a way to get this in there.
Yeah, if I could just get Steel Victory, but like I take one of their golds every time, like
it'd be pretty sick, yeah.
I'd be so happy.
And then we got over here to our sideboard. We already went over Big Bully. I'm assuming this is just in here for when you're doing the outside interference. You just get an option to grab. And we got 2 erase faces. I'm assuming this is a legitimate sideboard, or is, I mean, because it's not reviled, so you can't grab it. So who are you bringing this into? When
Cinder and Acilio and Earth.
Syndra, Acilio, and Earth, and also. I was thinking about this too because I was thinking about the cards, and because I feel like, and I could be wrong, but I feel like Dio is going to be making a showing.
Oh yeah, Dio.
And sorry. Because I wasn't sure, because like I said, I've only been playing the game for about a year, and I'm mainly on Syndra until now. So I'm like, I'm not having to think about these kinds of things. But I was like, does this work on Dio's boost?
Yeah.
And I was like, and I talked to my local judge, and they're like, yeah, like you own all the cards in your deck and you're banished and all that stuff. And I'm like, sick. This is Dio hate now. But yeah, no, this is such an insane card. And it's also a pummel target. So there you go.
It is.
And then we got 3 Fiddlers. What are you bringing these into?
anything I'm not bringing looking for scrap into. So they cover up daggers really well, just hitting that one. I bring them into Acilio because they cover up the break point. I bring them into like KO Armed and Dangerous because they just help me stay ahead in life. Like these cards, I have a very, very unhealthy relationship with these cards. And I'm quickly learning that it's not popular in the RKO community to still be on fiddlers, but I'm having a really, really hard time going off fiddlers. I spent a significant amount of time this week trying to like plan for Columbus, and the first card I tried to move was fiddlers, and the deck collapsed so hard.
Oh, really?
After I took out fiddlers, that I realized that I, as a player, cannot play this deck without fiddlers.
So this is a you thing. It's a tater. This is a tater special.
Yeah, like my KO Armed and Dangerous matchup went from like 70% with fiddlers down to like 20% without fiddlers.
That's crazy. Yeah, I like blue sirens. I think kind of does the same thing.
If that blocked 3, that would be in the deck 100%.
Yeah. And then we got the other red Mocking Blow, another outside interference grab.
And it's completely. I just want to emphasize, a lot of people avoid this play, but it's completely okay just discarding outside interference to grab a Mocking Blow and sending a 1-card 6 value. That is above rate and completely acceptable.
Yeah, just swap places with it. Like, oh, I can really use this. You can basically block your whole hand and keep the outside and just throw 6.
Yeah. Well, it's 5 plus the vigor value is 6 value. It's like so good.
And then we got the Oasis Respites. What are we bringing these into?
Kano and Verdance. I also brought them into Dorinthia, which worked out pretty good.
Interesting. Yeah.
To get around the Dominate, which I played a little bit of Dorinthia, so I know I high rolled that stream matchup, but I was also really, really scared of him just getting like a Singing Songblade and Determination turned and just completely flipping the script.
Yeah. So you have a lot of experience with that matchup. So it wasn't all just blind luck. You were
right.
Yeah, you were reading the lines.
So
now that
I read the Oasis, or I read the Respites when I needed to,
now that Kano's out, would you think this is still going to be as valuable? I mean, I'm sure you can keep it in there. I mean, it's always going to be valuable, but would the Kano change?
It would probably, whether or not that card stays is going to be dependent on Verdance's relevance on the current meta.
Got it.
Being able to use 2 cards to stuff out a Burn Bear by playing Oasis and an AB2 is really strong and something she does not like you to do. I had, in between my 2 stream matchups, I played a really, really good Verdance player who got all 4 pots out with Surging Aethertide. I had tracked their pitch stack, and so I knew they had the double rampant in hand. And so I threw the pummel to get one out, which they took. And I had the Oasis in Arsenal, and I thankfully drew up 3 blues.
Yeah.
And I was able to eat the full combo and stay at 10 health because of Oasis.
Yeah. I mean, when it lines up, it lines up. That's definitely good. Yeah, it's a sick card. I was just curious if how that would change now that Kano's bye-bye. But yeah, I think Verdance is still going to be around. And they might just change how they play. It might be a little bit more combo-y. And then we got Take It on the Chin. I'm pretty sure you pulled this out against the Dory as well, if I'm not mistaken. You're only running one of these on the side. What's your read on this when you bring this in and when you leave it out? And are you ever fat stacking your deck, or are you keeping it a tight 60?
There's a couple matchups I like the fat stack. Verdance is fat stacked. I think I run this in Verdance too. And it covers a Waning Moon perfectly.
Got it.
And then the agility token is really, really nice.
Just a nice little cherry on top.
Being able to respond with 16 damage just because I had this in my hand the turn before is really good.
Yeah. Okay, and then this is the one I had personal questions about. Authority of Ataya. I have one sitting in my
Yeah,
binder. I was lucky enough to
put it in,
pull
buddy.
one. And thoughts? When are we bringing this? When are we not bringing it?
I
Is it the best gem ever made?
It does really, really good with RKO. I had one matchup in particular that ended up, I may have won without it, but it definitely helped me get there a lot sooner.
Win more.
So, yes. So you're doing the mocking blow thing or the big bully thing, and they say no blocks. Before reaction step, there's a defense step, just like we were talking about with the flush bag trigger. You can hold priority there and activate RKO, so they can't respond to the
Because you've already pitched
authority
it.
trigger, right? So they can't respond to the authority trigger to respond with D-Reacts. And so now they have to pitch if they want to play those D-Reacts, which usually messes up a lot of people's turns.
That's crazy. Yeah. I was just curious about how that lined up because it is a no block. So that was the whole.
That's
Like it obviously makes
it's
sense to me. Like that why you would throw this in your deck, but like it was the no block risk that was like when are we throwing this in there?
yeah. If I lose because I have that in my hand, I was probably going to lose anyways.
Okay.
And just being able to get people, because like in those matchups, I'm also shuffling with Nimby a lot more, just because I want to see that card a lot more.
Okay.
Because like they see it pitch, but then they see me shuffle, so then they have to play around it every time
Got it.
I
Yeah.
throw a mocking blow or anything like that.
The boogeyman's just you never know when you're gonna draw it again.
Yeah. And just being able to that you have that, like that's why I was mentioning earlier that one of his powers is his ability is instant, is I can just sit there and the defense step before you have an ability to play reactions and just turn on this trigger is amazing.
Awesome.
I
So
think.
it might get actually my card actually might get some play now because ever since I had it, I was like, I got the cold foil and then I sold it and got a rainbow foil and turned it into some other generics that I needed, and since then I was like, it's just been sitting in the binder. I haven't found a spot for it yet, but looks like we might have found a home. That's good because it's not good to have a $200+ card just not being used.
Yeah.
And we got another outside, offensive behavior. I'm assuming this is one you're grabbing just a block with. Am I correct in that? If you,
No.
oh no, you're doing.
It is probably one of my first block targets. You are correct in that. But I grab it for, like, if I have like a mocking blow in hand, I can throw claw, discard outside interference, grab another blue, and then send mocking blow and still be able to turn it on.
Got it. Okay, cool. Yeah, I just like when I saw this, my brain went like, oh, for those once in a while times that you need to pitch outside to grab a blocking card. And then we got some AB Nolan gloves. Pretty standard, just AB1. And then you got the Savage. When are we bringing in Savage Sash?
I like it in Syndra and Acilio.
Okay.
There is a strong argument for KO Armed and Dangerous as well.
Okay. Yeah. I could definitely see that line. Luckily, I have my KO deck, so I already have one of these.
Just 2 extra points of life, and you have a Vigor left over. You can just break Sash and still return 8 with 1 card in hand without needing to pitch anything.
And then finally, we got Skullhorn, just another AB. You're never triggering the action. Am I correct in that?
No. Yeah, I haven't. I really want to find a reason to, but I haven't found one yet.
I guess maybe if you really like were back against the wall and you had 1 card in hand that I don't know, just Hail Mary play maybe, but you probably already lost the game at that point.
If it was discard and then draw, I think I would play it because I can like go down to like 1 Fiddlers and make sure I discard the Fiddlers to gain 3 life, and then
but since it's random,
I draw it to like
the random takes away the fun of it. But it's just a standard AB2. So you run an AB3 against the Arcane. I'm assuming you're throwing this in there against Verdance. And are you running AB into Acilio, or are you running...
I am a believer of Savage Sash and AB3 into a Cilio.
AB3 into Cilia. Okay. Yeah, because
They're
I lean kind of more towards the the block value for the Gone in the Flash turns. I
Yeah.
know the other ones are good too, but the triggers and all that fun stuff. Because I feel like the maybe tell me your opinion on this. Throwing in the Scowling Flesh Bag on those Gone in a Flash turns can really do some damage. But I don't know your thoughts on that.
it
It's a little
can.
bit of risk
Um,
for sure, but
yeah, but I one of the things that irritate me the most about a Cilio is I found out when I do that, it takes no effort from him just to mind warp my hand, all the pieces.
okay.
So if I do the flashbang route, I got to make sure I draw pretty hot and try to swing hard. This deck is more defensive orientated, so I'm relying on a good amount of luck if I go the flashbang route.
Got it.
If I want something like more like, God's List where it's like Cruel Ambitions and, Beaten, Battered, and Broken, then probably I would lean heavily into flashbang just
Got it.
because I got a lot more oomph coming out of the gate.
Yeah. But your deck's a little bit more consistent leaning, which is, I mean, consistency is key. You can always high roll, but consistency is consistent.
Yeah.
And then I think that's pretty much everything you have in your deck. We got the tokens. We got your maybes. We'll just touch on this real quick. Any thoughts on this? I really like Cutting Retort personally. But what are your thoughts? I mean, maybe board obviously didn't make it in, but
yeah, this was one of the Mansant ones that didn't make it into my list, I believe.
got it.
I don't. It's the one word that says different names. That's the only reason I can't justify running this card.
Yeah, it is. It does have a lot of specifics, but
because I think he put it in for Syndra just to kind of nuke them off fealty, and
you're only taking one.
I think there's better uses for reds than
got it.
That. I understand the card, and if it didn't have the word different, I would probably run it in a heartbeat. But I feel like this deck does a good enough job with the Steel Victories, taking them off fealty. It's probably even less needed now since Brand was hit into Syndra. But,
yeah. Or maybe, actually probably more, because now they're going to be relying on the fealty, because the brands just gave it without fealty.
Yeah, I think because they're going to be burning it more, but Steel Victory is just that much more impactful.
And then we got your third copy of Oasis, just making space, I'm assuming. Just didn't make the cut.
Yeah, it didn't make the cut. I felt like 2 was sufficient for what I needed it to do. The 2 Oasis actually took the spot of Arc Smash in the deck.
Got it. Yeah.
Like I mentioned earlier, Birdances just knew how to play around it. It has some play in a Kasai and Gravy, but the Gravy, it's more cute than anything, and I think you're probably bound to win that if it comes down to if you have Arc Smash or not. And the Kasai just wasn't that impactful because they'll just wait another cycle to make their goons and tear you down.
We're the ones with the goon. We got the goon squad.
Yeah.
And then you got the Poison the Whale. This is obviously...
And Ataya took that spot.
Yeah. Cool. And then we got one more AB on here just in case things change, I suppose. Or if you wanted to throw one more in there. Would you ever be running this instead of the... I forget which ones they're called, but the ones that you pitch into? If like the meta changes, another wizard comes out in Compendium or something.
Yeah, they would have to make Kano 2.0, I think. Something that can really abuse Wildfire.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think that kind of covers the deck. I do appreciate you going over this with me. Did you have anything else you want to party knowledge or any social drops? Want to drop your team social? You want to say hi to your family, everybody back home? I don't know, whatever you want to do. Platform's yours.
I'm really grateful for my supportive wife, Lauren Lane, allowing me to have this hobby and have this endeavor. I'm
Shout
really
out to all the
grateful
wives
for
out there.
Yeah, you guys are the real MVP. and she likes it when I go and play these things, and she knows it's like my way of unwinding and kind of relaxing after a long week. And I'm really grateful to have my team, the Potato Squad, to help me practice and get ready. We're kind of like reinventing the wheel when it comes to teams. We're all a bunch of dads just trying to balance. We want to be competitive, but we don't really have necessarily the time
Yeah, it
to
is kind of
dedicate
hard
towards
when.
it.
Yeah.
And so we have like an after hours routine that we go through once or twice a week, and it's safe to say at this point I'm pretty confident it's been working. So
Yeah, results
really,
results show, right?
yep.
Well,
And it's nice. We don't have any active socials yet, but I'm sure they'll change sooner or later.
yeah. I mean, if that changes for the videos up, let me know. It'll be in the comments, or not the comments. It'll be in the description down below. I don't think you have any, any socials. I did do a search for you after this because I was like, oh, I want to talk to that RKO guy, and I was lucky enough to find you where I did, but it was a tough thing. So I don't think you have too much. But if you had anything you wanted to plug,
Oh,
no.
I'm on Discord, in the purple Discord under the same name. If anyone
Gotcha. Yeah,
wants
that's
to
where I
hit me
found you.
up,
I didn't want to
I'm
out
always
you in case you wanted to keep somewhat of a low profile,
yeah.
but
Oh no,
yeah.
I'm good with Discord. If anyone wants to hit me up on Discord, I'm open and available to talk.
Awesome. All right. Well, I do appreciate you taking the time and walking everybody through this deck. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll see you on the in a month or so when you win the next calling.
Whew, it's a
Calling
big
it
ask.
now.
I'll do my best.
I want to thank Tater one more time for coming by and hanging out. It was awesome to go over everything with him, and I know I learned a lot. I hope you guys got some value out of this too. Maybe you learned a couple tricks for RKO. But if you made it this far, you can consider yourself a true No Blocks OG, and I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Until next time, I'm Robert, and this has been No Blocks.